In 410 BC, Thebes concluded an alliance with Sparta. When the 30 tyrants ruled in Athens after the overthrow of democracy, Athenian refugees gathered primarily in Thebes. This changed when Thebes began the Corinthian War against Sparta in 395 BC in alliance with Corinth and Argos, but its coalition was defeated in 394 BC. The war dragged on until 386 and ended in a royal peace brought about by the Persian king. When the Thebans did not accept the general peace in 371 BC because the Spartans demanded the dissolution of the Boeotian League, the Theban War began, in which Thebes, under the leadership of Epaminondas, won hegemony in Greece in the Battle of Leuctra. It also overthrew Sparta's power in the Peloponnese, with Epaminondas founding the Arcadian League and restoring Messenia's independence. It even sought naval control in order to oust Athens from this position of power. In the Battle of Leuctra in 371 BC, the Thebans, under their general Epaminondas, defeated the Spartans, who subsequently lost the hegemony they had over Greece since the Peloponnesian War. The Thebans used the skewed order of battle for the first time at Leuctra. In doing so, they caused the first defeat in an open field battle for the Sparta army, which had previously been considered invincible, and won the Boeotian War. After the armies had lined up at Leuctra, the Spartan peltasts and skirmishers opened the battle. A battle then developed between the Spartan cavalry and the Boeotian riders. Cleombrotus had placed the Spartan horsemen in front of him. As was to be expected, the Spartan cavalry was pushed from the field, but as it moved through the narrow streets between the Spartan divisions, the phalanx was thrown into disarray and the flanking movement that had begun could not be completed. The Theban phalanx proceeded according to plan, holding back the right wing in a staggered manner, while the deep column on the left inevitably encountered the Spartan right wing and defeated it. In the clash, 2 Spartan detachments with a total of 1,000 men were almost completely destroyed. King Cleombrotus, his deputies, and 400 Spartiates fell. When the rest of the Spartan army saw that the right wing had been defeated, they left the field to the Thebans. Epaminondas refrained from pursuing the defeated enemy. The Battle of Leuctra is the first battle for which the use of the leaning order of battle is documented. The crooked order of battle is still considered a fine art of tactics today. Through the organic connection of the cavalry with the hoplites on both wings, Epaminondas is also considered the founder of the tactical principle of combined arms combat in Europe. Now Athens went over to Sparta's side, which, although it could not prevent the Boeotian League's military operations in the Peloponnese, could seriously affect them. After Epaminondas' death in 362 BC, Thebes' power, which had only risen to such heights through the genius of its 2 greatest statesmen, fell again. Nevertheless, the alliance around Thebes remained the strongest power in Greece and continued to pursue an aggressive regulatory policy. At Thebes' instigation, the community-authored landscape of Phocis was sentenced to a heavy fine by the Amphictyon court for violating the Delphic temple area. This provoked the Third Holy War. The old tribal hatred of the Thessalians and the newly aroused hatred of the Thebans against the mountain people of the Phocians. In the run-up to the war, the Amphictyons imposed a heavy fine on the Phocians. They were to be punished for, according to the Thebans' accusations, using part of the area of the former city of Kira, which had already been destroyed in the First Holy War, for agriculture. The development of this sacred area of land was punishable, but the Phocians ignored this. The amount of the fine imposed also appeared to exceed their financial resources. Then the distinguished Phocian Philomelos, son of Theodemos, appeared. After explaining the impossibility of raising the sum of the fine, he advised his compatriots to take possession of the treasures of the Delphic temple, since the sanctuary actually belonged to the Phocians. This proposal fell on fertile ground, and the Phocians, under Philomelos' command, occupied Delphi, stole the treasure of the sanctuary, and later even had it melted down. Because of the occupation of Delphi, the Amphictyons declared holy war in 356 BC. Philomelos won the support of the Spartan king Archidamos III. Athens was also an ally of the Phocians. On the opposing side were not only the Thebans and Thessalians, but also the Perhabers, Dorians, and other Greek peoples. The Macedonian king Philip II moved to Thessaly around this time and attacked the tyrant Lycophron of Pherae, who then turned to the Phocians for support. Phalus, a brother of Anamarchus, came to Lycophron's aid with 7,000 men, but was defeated by the Macedonian king, Philip II. Now Anamarchos himself intervened in Thessaly with a powerful army, defeated the Macedonian king in 2 battles, and forced him to retreat. In 352 BC, Anamarchos marched to Thessaly with 20,000 infantry and 500 cavalry to once again provide military support to Lycophron of Pherae, as Philip II attacked Lycophron for the second time in conjunction with strong Thessalian noble troops. The Macedonian king defeated the Phocians in the decisive battle on the Crocus field. Anamarchos and many of his warriors fell. As punishment, Philip II had 3,000 prisoners thrown into the sea as temple robbers. Since the Phocians occupied the Boeotian cities and from there devastated the surrounding area, the Thebans, who were now exhausted and could not recapture the cities mentioned, called King Philip II to help. This final phase of the war began with Phylakos regaining supreme command at the beginning of 346 BC. He torpedoed the connections that the Phocians had established with Athens and Sparta. So he rejected the Spartan king Archidamos III, who came to his aid, and the Athenians also ultimately refused their help. Philip II appeared at Thermopylae and Phylakos met him with 8,000 men at Nicaea. But since he noticed the superiority of the Macedonian forces, Phylakos did not engage in battle, but concluded a treaty with Philip II, according to which he and his mercenaries were given free departure. So Philip II became master of Phocis without a fight. And so the Phocians were expelled from the Delphic temple and the League of the Amphictyons. Philip II was able to establish his supremacy in northern and central Greece through his interaction in the Third Holy War. His image in the Greek world improved significantly. While Philip II was considered a barbarian before the war, his self-image changed after the Peace of Philocrates. Since he had received the 2 votes of the Phocians who had been excluded from the Amphictyon Council, he was now a legitimate member of this body. From this point on, he presided over the Panhellenic Games. From now on, Macedonians were also allowed to take part in the games, which was previously not possible because they were not recognized as full Greeks. Through this symbolic act of recognition, Philip managed to bring more allies to his side. Philip II now began to expand outside of Greece by besieging Byzantium in Asia Minor. In doing so, he endangered Athens' grain supply, so Athens declared war on Macedonia. In August 338 BC, Philip II and his army destroyed the allied Greek armies of Thebes, Athens, and other city-states, meaning that Macedonia now also occupied an important position in central Greece.